You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Beecham Network Multiverse of Media has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the Stat Boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dori Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D-18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show.
Hello, my festive internet fans. And she's back. Oh, now she's over here. There you go. She's back. She's back. She's back. She's back in the sports bar where she belongs. Dori Lou is back in the sports bar looking festive as always.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
We hope you're getting ready for Christmas, which is in 5 days away. Put that cigarette down, Zach. We know that you smoke, but come on.
Oops.
No smoking in the sports bar. I have an anti-cigarette rule. Vaping is okay. Smoking's bad for you.
They're both bad for you, but whatever.
Indeed. All right. Let's get the show started. Remember, as stated in the chat room, if you want to dictate the conversation, please. It's the holidays. Super chat. And yes, these stats and potential rats are Statboy approved. And apparently I can't wait to hear about the chances the Detroit Lions have to secure their spot in the playoffs. Yes, we'll get to that, but you gotta let it cook before you go to the main course. You got to have your appetizers, you got to have your salad, you got to have your bread, and then you have the steak. So we start off always, like we do, with college hoops. Let's take a look and see where all the teams lie. We have a new number one team this week in the men's department, and that is Purdue. They jumped up 2 spots. Kansas didn't move at all. Houston moves up 1. Arizona drops 1. The UConn Huskies stay put. Marquette moves up 1. Oklahoma and our residential team of the Vols are up 4 big spots. Kentucky, however, 5 big spots. Baylor takes a drop, 4 spots, not too bad. North Carolina drops 2. Creighton drops 4. Illinois goes up 3. Florida Atlantic goes up. Gonzaga, almost a roller coaster drop at 5. Colorado State drops 1. BYU goes up 1. Clemson drops 5. Texas stays put. James Madison stays put. Duke stays put. Virginia stays put. And new to top 25 is Memphis, which is 6 hours west of Sevier County. Wisconsin drops a spot, and Ole Miss is is in the last spot, but they are new to the list. Dori Lou, can you take a look at can you read the women's stuff A-okay?
No, of course not. It's way too small on the screen because I have split screens.
I apologize. But again, for the second week, no changes in the women's. The majority of the ladies have stayed put. South Carolina all the way down to Utah, 1 through 11. South Carolina, UCLA, North Carolina State, Iowa, Texas, USC, LSU, Colorado, Stanford, Baylor, and Utah, all in the same position. Kansas State and Ohio State switched. Notre Dame stayed put. Virginia Tech and Indiana switched. UConn stayed put. Marquette and Louisville changed. Gonzaga and Creighton changed. Florida State went up. Washington is new to the list. North Carolina went up. And TCU is brand new. Those are your college basketball rankings. Remember, this all leads to March Madness, which is just 3 months away.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, Lord help us all.
Exactly. We go from college to the pros, and we do have 2 NBA stories to talk about. The first one took place.
Whew.
My boy Giannis was playing against the Indiana Pacers on December 14th, scoring a franchise record of 64 points. The gentleman on the right side of the screen is a rookie for Indiana named Oscar Tshiebwe. He is brand new, rookie season. He scored his very first point by way of free throw with only 2:42 left in the fourth quarter. Giannis, of course, dominating, scoring 64 points. The first picture you see there with the ring around it, courtesy of ESPN, the referee is handing the game ball to somebody in a green jacket. That person then hands the ball off to somebody else, presumably in an Indiana Pacer blue suit. Not necessarily a suit and tie, but he's got the jacket and the pants. The Pacers want to give the game ball to the rookie. As you can see in the second picture, Giannis is none too happy about that. He scored 64 points. While the talk was taking place, his brother, Thanasi, he's trying to calm down his brother. He's like, hey, it's no big thing. It's just a game ball. Giannis is then shown running into the Indiana hallway where the team has apparently already got the ball. And a small skirmish, fracas, whatever you want to call it, whatever the media calls it, says took place. The commentators on the game then are like, okay, something's happening with the game ball. Let's not end the game this way. Giannis goes to the press conference. He was asked about it, and he says, quote, I have the ball, but I don't know it's the game ball. It doesn't feel like the game ball to me. He's also saying he played 35 minutes. He knows how the basketball feels. The Indiana coach also was asked about it. He said, we get the game ball. It's our ball. We had a player scoring his first point. That we didn't even know about Giannis. We didn't realize that. We always get the game ball. And he is quoted on saying this on ESPN. So now the thing is, okay, at the end of the day, it's a basketball. At the end of the day, they both have very interesting defenses or reasons to have the game ball. Giannis did something good, and Oscar did something good. Who gets the game ball? Who wants to go first?
Ladies first.
Go ahead, Dori Lou.
The rookie should get the ball first. It's his first time scoring in the NBA. You will never have that first again. Giannis is going to have another record high scoring game for himself. You can never get that first scoring points professionally again. That's all I have to say.
Indeed. Fantasy God.
Mikey, you're not gonna like this. I
Go
get
ahead.
it. That's your guy, but
Well,
he has to be a role model. He's one of the top tier, if not the top tier player in the NBA.
mm-hmm.
He has to be a role model for the future and the up and coming generation. I think how he handled it was kind of childish.
Of course. I
You
can agree to that. You're not lying.
You got to be a role model.
Indeed. I mean, at the end of the day, it all breaks down to it's a basketball. Okay. My problem sometimes is it earns sentimental value for what it is being used for. There are players that have ton of baseballs. There are players that have ton of hockey pucks. And each one of them has a meaning of some kind. Connor Bedard got like 3 hockey pucks in his first week for his first goal, his first assist. Whenever he decides to play and get a hat trick, that's going to be important. And it's not just the puck. It's not just the stick. It's not just the ball. It's not just the shoes. Every little piece of equipment is becoming this amazing, outstanding thing that all these people want to make money off of or put it in their trophy case. If you're putting it in your trophy case where nobody will see it, that's fine. If you're not interested in the money, because let's face it, when the money comes into play, that destroys everything. A tournament that just happened. That was my biggest problem on that. But like, who remembers the great home run chase between McGuire and Sosa? Nobody wants those home run balls because they're tainted because of, they can't hit home runs without taking steroids, but they still want, this is the ball. This is the ball that Mark McGuire hit. This is the ball that Sammy Sosa hit. This is the ball that Barry Bonds hit into the Bay at San Francisco. How can you be absolutely certain is my big problem. It's turning into a disaster and a PR nightmare. I do agree with what Zach said. Giannis, come on. You're a top level guy.
Grow up, man.
Give him the ball. Give him the ball. Bottom line. From one end of the spectrum to the NBA to another, Golden State is now having a bit of an issue. But one of their players, Draymond Green, is suspended indefinitely for a flagrant foul 2 against Yusuf Nurkic on December 12th. You can see in the first picture there, it's normal. You can see Draymond's, I believe that is his left arm. He gets swung around, and in the last picture, wham, right across the side of the face. Nurkic goes down. The refs take a look at it. It's a flagrant foul. He did get ejected from the game, but then the league stepped in and said, you are done for the end. You are suspended indefinitely. So we have no clue how long this is going to last. It's kind of sad, really. I mean, I really don't think when you're playing basketball, you intentionally try to hurt somebody, especially when you're guarding on them. I mean, he just swung around. From what I've seen, he made contact. The refs take a look at it, and you're out. Thoughts?
It's the second time in a month.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes it a whole lot different, doesn't it?
Because you remember he choked out Karl Anthony Towns.
Yes. Yes, he did. And it's been brought up previously that if I want to say Steph Curry is not on the court with him, he acts out because he doesn't want to be on the court without Curry. Yep. If I remember correctly, who it is.
I believe you're right.
But now it's like, really, dude? You just got yourself suspended indefinitely, and nobody's going to want to bring you back. You are such a poor sportsman.
Wow.
Yeah, that is just absolute poor sportsmanship. And then watching the replay of that clip, Draymond tried to say that the other guy,
Yusuf Nurkic.
hit him in the side first, so that's why he retaliated.
There was maybe a small grab on the back of Green's jersey, but there was no push, shove, or any of that.
Nothing
I saw a grab. I did not see a punch or anything like that.
Right. So it's just, I'm sorry, he's just a poor sport. That's all there is to it. And dude, go take some anger management classes.
He's been ejected from 37 games in 3 years.
Well, that coaches, take a look at that record.
Then you're done. I mean, at this point, the punishment fits the crime, folks. I'm sorry. If you've been doing that multiple times, then
it's just like the next person we're going to talk about.
Which is?
Well, hold on. So before we go on, since we saw the Golden State Warriors, I'm going to throw a positive in there because we got to have those positives. Yes. Steph Curry is the NBA's all-time three-point leader. He is now the first player in history to reach 3,500 career three-pointers.
And I also believe Giannis passed Kareem on the rebounding list. So there's another good stat out there. Zach, what's your third topic on basketball didn't?
So we've been talking about it week after week after week. Mm-hmm. And now has come the time. Tonight is John Morant's first game back.
Oh, yeah. That was brought up on ESPN. I didn't get a graphic on that one. Yes, he has served his sentence. His suspension is over. Let's face it, though, that was still one of the dumbest things to do ever, to go to a club and brandish a weapon. Big mistake on that one. He better learn from it, bottom line. I mean, and let's not get into Second Amendment rights and all that stuff. You don't just take it out and no, bottom line on that one. Go ahead.
And then he's still got the lawsuit going on from hitting the kid in the pickup game.
Oh, yeah, that.
So, like, first it was that gun at the airport, then the gun at the strip club, now punching kids in a pickup game. What is he trying to fall in line with Draymond?
Let's hope not.
Sound like it.
Let's hope not. Not at all. Let's take a look at the current power rankings and see if these ejections and all this game stuff is causing any problems. Let's see where that is all happening. We have a new number one team, but it's not as bad as you think. The Boston Celtics have taken over the number one spot. They are tied with the Minnesota Timberwolves. They both have the same record.
Ooh, okay.
The tiebreaker is points. Boston at 117.6, Minnesota at 113.5. The Bucks are just staying still. They have been in the same spot for 3 weeks. They are 19-7. The 76ers are 18-8. The Denver Nuggets are 18, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're staying put at the end of column 1, 17-8. Sacramento Kings are tied with the Orlando Magic. They both have 16-9 records. Sacramento is at 118.2. Orlando's at 113.2, a 5-point difference, a 4-point gain for Sacramento, and a 4-point loss for Orlando. The Mavericks are at 16-10. They are tied with the Clippers. Dallas is at 119.3. The Clippers leapt over column 3 and into column 2, 8 big spots. Pelicans are at 16-11. Knicks round out column 2 at 15-11 for 2 weeks in a row. The Lakers, they did put up their banner for winning the in-season tournament. However, because of it, now they're down 4. They're at the top of column 3, right in the middle at 15-12, tied with the Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Literally less than 2 points separates all 3 teams. Phoenix at 14-12, Houston at 13-11, Indiana at 13-12. We move over to column 4. Brooklyn is at 500, 13-13. Golden State has not moved in 4 weeks in column 4. Atlanta and Toronto are tied at 11-15. Atlanta has a 10-point lead over the Raptors, and they both have not moved for 2 weeks. Chicago's at 11-17. Utah is 10-17. Charlotte's at 7-18. We're in column 5, which is where you don't want to be. Portland and Memphis have switched. Memphis dropped. Portland went up. San Antonio's at 4-21. Washington's 4-22. And the losing streak continues for Detroit. They are now at 24 straight games without a win. Bottom of the barrel, 6 weeks in a row. They are now the team that has been at the bottom of the barrel for the longest so far. And if they want that number one spot, keep losing, Detroit. Like Jeff says, send on all the love to the Lions so the Pistons can be.
Yeah, well, with what the Lions are doing, I think we can forgive the Pistons one season. But thinking of current games right now, the Grizzlies are at the Pelicans. They are still in their first period, and currently the Grizzlies are leading 20-16.
How about that?
There's 4 other games, but none of them have started yet.
All right. Before we go into hockey, we're going to take a quick break. Check out this really cool documentary. We've played it before. We're going to play it again. Check out what's happening on the Hebert side of things with this. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Gary Hebert, the man, the myth, the legend. I was amazed, and I was looking to become a better skater myself, and I wanted to be like Gary.
When you look at a guy like this, he's one of the most talented people in his profession. He's been given gifts by God.
It can get frustrating at times when you're trying things that maybe don't come as quickly to you as other things. And, you never really felt that sense of frustration with Gary. It was always about improvement and positive reinforcement.
Was it really the end? Was that head injury really the end? God has called Gary to continue to be a blessing to others and to be a passionate example.
My name is Gary Hebert, and this is the World Academy of Hockey, otherwise known as the Inside Edge.
I would recommend anybody that have a chance to come to his hockey school. I think it'd be well worth it. It'd be rewarding to all the kids and anyone he coaches, from whether it's an adult, a professional player, to a little kid like a Mike or a Squirt.
Gary, from day one, has been instrumental to my hockey career. I started out as a potential Division III player, and Gary brought me single-handedly through high school and into a top Division I prospect. I owe it all to Gary, the biggest legend on and off ice there's ever been.
Listen, watch, learn, be confident, and have faith. Those are the answers I was brought to. Yet, I only now am really learning how truly important those 5 things are.
Through preparation, through appropriate thoughtfulness and thinking, we can learn to untie the typical knots between our ears that drive us into underachievement and underperformance. And lo and behold, we can learn, I think, to fulfill our God-given potential.
Gary has the innate ability to make people not only better players, but better people. The life lessons they learn from Gary are incredible.
You can always remember leaving that rink knowing as a player I got better or I had something to improve on to get better. And I think that's what you excelled on as a coach, is giving us the knowledge to know what we needed to do to get better.
There's coaches who know the game, but can you communicate and create passion in your kids and in your players? And Gary's able to do that.
Gary's got great knowledge and the great hands, but more importantly, his ability to connect with people and care for them. His communication skills, to me, really stand out and separate him, and that's why he's one of the best, in the world.
Gary's a legend. He's a special man.
That last line says it all. He's a special man, and he truly is. I mean, to have that cool of a documentary put together that we've been promoting, I still want to see the full documentary when it comes out. It's going to be great. Absolutely. James, we can't say enough about James doing an excellent job putting documentaries together and putting everything that he does a great thing. When it comes to hockey, we've got some news coming out of LA that the Kings have put their goaltender Phoenix Copley on long-term IR with a lower body injury. It took place last Friday during practice. He did not make the trip to with the team as they played the Kraken. Minimum of 10 games, he's out. The Kings are in third place in the Pacific Division with 38 points. You'll see that in the power rankings in just a quick second. But, it's everything is switched goalie-wise because Cam Talbot's he's the primary starter. His goal average is just over 2 goals a game. He's a 7th in wins, so Talbot can definitely pick up the pace. There's no need to worry. No need to worry, Kings fans. You got this.
Sadly, and this is kind of breaking because it was posted about 2 hours ago.
Uh-oh.
My beloved Minnesota Wild, who have been struggling this season.
Mm-hmm.
Zuccarello is out week to week with an upper body injury also now.
Not Zook.
Yep. But you know what? I'm still rooting for my Wild, good, bad, or ugly. They are currently playing in Boston at the Bruins.
Oh.
Yeah, and the Bruins are up 2-1 in the second.
All righty. Let's take a look at the power rankings. Let's see how the rest of the league are doing when it comes to the Miracle on Ice. And here they come. Just like that, speak and they will come up. The Vegas Golden Knights are your number 1 team for 2 weeks in a row. They're at 47 points. Here's a surprise. The Vancouver Canucks joined the top 3. They're up 2 spots. The Rangers dropped down to number 3. They are tied with the Bruins at 43 points. Rangers are at 21-7-1. Bruins are 19-5-5. The Avalanche are tied with the Stars. They both have 40 points. Avalanche are at 19-10-2, and the Stars are at 18-8-2. The Jets are at 39 points, and the Panthers have a slight edge over the Kings and the Maple Leafs. The Kings are atop column 2. Again, no need to panic, no need to worry. One good win, they're right back in column 1. Although I did not, the Panthers are 18-11-2, the Kings are 17-6-4, and the Maple Leafs are dangerously devilish because they have the 666 in their record, 16-6-6. I put that up there. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of scary. That should be for the New Jersey, not for the Maple Leafs. The Flyers are by themselves at 37 points. And here's the surprise. Smashville, Nashville at 36 points, halfway up column 2. Something's going on 3 hours west of Sevier County that the Predators are up there. If they move into column 1, that's a Christmas gift for me. The Islanders are tied with the Preds. They have a 4-game lead, 18-13 and 14-8-8. Our neighbors to the east, Carolina, are at 35 points. Capitals are at 34. They are tied with the Red Wings. We move over to column 3. The Devils and the Lightning are at 33 points. Devils haven't moved in 2 weeks. Coyotes and Canadiens are tied at 32. Blues and Penguins and Flames are at 31. And the Sabres round out column 3 at 29. Tied with the Kraken as we go to column 4. Then the Wild are at 28 points. They have not moved in 2 weeks. The Oilers are at 27. The Blue Jackets are 25. The Ducks are at 24. They did move up 1 spot. So if they're starting that climb, you got to go 1 rung at a time. The Senators are at 22. And here's the surprise. The Sharks are no longer at the bottom of the barrel. They are finally out of the cellar. They're only one rung above it. And sadly now it's Chicago at the bottom. Connor, wake up. You should never have smashed each other when the Oilers played the Blackhawks.
Oh, goodness. And thinking of Smashville, the Predators are currently playing at home against the Canucks. They are early in the first with no score.
No score. Okay. Predators. Wow, what a surprise. I did not think last year, oh, Renegade's in the room. What's up, Renegade?
Blackhawks dropped because Punk's not there to cheer him on anymore.
He's getting ready for the Royal Rumble.
There you go. There you go.
Indeed he is. Zach, you got anything for hockey? Anything you want to add?
Poor Seattle.
That's it?
What else do you want me to say? Poor Seattle. And Connor is not helping me either. So that's just like two, just like.
Well, this one's over here really happy because she is dominating all of us in the fantasy world, even though I still am a couple weeks behind. She's way up there. She can just sit back and relax and not even worry. She doesn't have to worry about her players. She doesn't have to worry about who's on IR. She doesn't have to worry about day-to-day stuff. I still haven't gotten rid of Trevor Zegras in my team yet, and I know he's on the IR, but I won't have anything to get rid of him. Ugh.
That's cool. She has her world and I have mine.
Yeah, don't we know?
Oh, do I?
Don't we know about your world?
That's okay. I'm still coming up behind you.
We'll get to that, but
yes, we will.
All right. Moving right along as we continue this festive holiday season. Week 1 of the college bowl games is in the books, and that leads us into week 2. At the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Ohio, not the Ohio State, but Ohio, defeated Georgia Southern 41-21. In the Cricket Celebration Bowl, Florida A&M defeated Howard University 30-26. At the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, down in his neck of the woods, Jacksonville State defeated Louisiana 34-31 in overtime. You're not too happy about that one, are you?
Hold on. It's always a big weekend when Louisiana Lafayette hosts the New Orleans Bowl. It's just everybody's normally there. ESPN had to turn the cameras away constantly from the crowd.
Why?
Guess how many people were at that game?
Not enough.
436.
Ouch! Wow. And how many seats can the stadium hold?
About 40,000.
Not even 1% of the people showed up?
Nope.
Ouch. That's a shame. I mean, I get that we've said before that BCS bowl games are just merchandising, but to have only 1%, 400 people out of a 40,000 stadium?
A lot of people complained about the rain too. So
well, it's fun to play football in the rain. I mean, you get to slide all over the place. You turn your field into a giant slip and slide.
Yeah, exactly. But the people were complaining about walking to a dome in the rain. Crybabies.
Oh my goodness. People buy umbrellas. There's also like raincoats with hoods and stuff like that. There's lots of ways to deal with it. And you put a dry pair of socks and an extra pair of shoes in your backpack, so when your feet get wet, you can change.
At the Avocado from Mexico Cure Bowl, Miami of Ohio defeated Appalachian State 13-9. There you go. Well
Which
done,
version?
Renegade. Well done. At the Isleta New Mexico Bowl, Fresno State defeated New Mexico State 37-10. At the LA Bowl, the Bruins defeated Boise State 35-22 at SoFi Stadium. No LA night though, so that I guess there was just scheduling.
Oh,
I know they had their chance. Radiance Technology Independence Bowl, Texas Tech defeated California 34-14, and we missed a game in the previews from last week. The famous Toastery Bowl, Western Kentucky defeated Old Dominion in overtime 38-35. So what happens in the next week? We have more games. There's the Boca Raton Bowl. South Florida takes on Syracuse. That is on Thursday. The Gasparilla Bowl, Georgia Tech takes on UCF Friday. The Birmingham Bowl, Troy versus Duke on Saturday. The Camilla Bowl, whatever that is, Arkansas State versus Northern Illinois. the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. James Madison takes on the Air Force. I'd almost want that to be a rematch of Army Navy, but they have their own
Air
traditions.
Force.
Go Air Force. Of course, when you think of Idaho, you think of the potatoes. Georgia State versus Utah State on Saturday the 23rd, and the 68 Ventures Bowl, South Alabama versus Eastern Michigan. And in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, the SRS Distribution Bowl, Utah versus Northwestern. And over in Hawaii, the team Coastal California takes on San Jose State. Of course, this set of games takes place after Christmas, the week of, and of course, New Year's Day. And of course, we will definitely report those games on. Oh, yeah, we have an announcement for that coming up. We have an announcement for that one. But
did you see that Western Bowl?
Which one?
Did you see that the Western Bowl?
Nope.
Western Kentucky and Old Dominion was up 35-0 midway through the third quarter and lost 38-35.
I feel bad for the commentators sometimes. I mean, we know they're there to do a job, but they're like, if there's literally 400 people there, they're probably thinking, just pay me and get me out. I would not be surprised if that happened. We're going to take another commercial before we get to the meat and potatoes of the Stat Boy Sports Bar, and that is week 15. Okay. Lots of things to talk about, lots of eliminations, lots of clinching. Stay tuned. Weeks to go until my personal favorite and Renegade's favorite and probably everyone's favorite on the road to WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. 6 more weeks to go. Santa, give me my Christmas present early this year. I want the Royal Rumble now. I have to be a good little boy though.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen programming wise. So I have a quick question from our comments. Which version of Crimea River? Timberlake or Julie London? As I was thinking about it. Yeah, well, because I used to do the Julie London version for karaoke, but as I'm thinking about it, it's probably the JT version.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't know anybody had done it prior to JT, but I know Newfound Glory did a cover of JT's version, which I'm kind of preferred, but out of the two you gave me, I would go with JT, obviously.
Yeah, well, if you haven't heard it, Julie London's version is it's a whole different song. It is a whole different song. So as I was thinking about that, it's like, yeah, it's probably Justin Timberlake's version, considering what we're discussing. So, alrighty, moving on.
We might need to cry a river if we're going to talk about the first game that happened during the week.
What a blowout. If we don't have the graphic, it's okay. We can just talk about it. It's no big thing. The first game of the week, of course, was the Raiders against the Chargers. It used to be, it could have been the Battle of LA, but it just didn't happen. By the halftime, the Raiders were just stomping all over. Your final score, 63-21.
The Chargers didn't even manage to score in the first half.
You wanted to go to bed as soon as halftime was over.
Yep.
Pretty much. And the record there is of the team that scores the most points in a game is 72. So when they were creeping up, I'm like, okay, 3 more touchdowns to go, 2 more They just didn't want to do it. You got the stats on that one, Dori Lou? Take it away.
Of course I do. So over for the Chargers, you had Easton Stick at behind the ball at quarterback. He completed 23 of 32 passes for 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. He also rushed twice for a total of 11 yards. Running back Isaiah Spiller rushed 16 times for 50 yards, and wide receiver Josh Palmer caught all 4 targets. All 4 times he was targeted for 113 yards with a touchdown. Over for the Raiders, you had Aidan O'Connell at QB. He completed 20 of 34 passes, 248 yards, 4 touchdowns. Running back Zomir White caught 3 out of 4 passes for 16 yards, rushed 17 times for 69 yards with a touchdown. And I'm sorry, he is a former Viking, but he was a crybaby for part of the game. Wide receiver Devontae Adams caught 8 out of 12 for 101 yards with a touchdown.
So this game did have a few implications. The winner of the game avoided elimination for the week. Of course, that was the Raiders. Unfortunately, the Raiders have the only possible elimination scenario next week. And of course, the number one scenario is very simple. If they lose, they're out. Bottom line. There is no other. There are other ways that if they win, they're still alive. If they tie, which let's face it, could possibly happen, there are many other scenarios. But the bottom line, Raiders lose, they are done. Straight simple.
What a terrible. Okay. So 8 different players from the Raiders scored a touchdown.
Yes.
Their wide receiver threw a touchdown.
Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
The coach and the GM get fired after the next day.
Yep.
And now they have interest in Urban Meyer and Bill Belichick. Are you trying to just make your franchise just even worse? Even worse.
You know,
when we get to the New England game, I will say something about Belichick, but what would the point be to put him in Vegas?
Because he would actually be really solid with Justin Herbert.
Okay, here's my analogy. Putting Bill Belichick in, as coach of the Las Vegas Raiders is like betting 0-0 on roulette. You just don't do it. Clip that. Thank you. Just came into my head. The next game on the list, I know, Dori, you do not want to talk about this one. We watched the game. Cincinnati wins 27-24. Now, no need to panic yet. Don't panic. Minnesota's still safe. Cincinnati's still safe. We needed this game to kind of stay alive. Well, they are alive. They are still alive. Go ahead with the stats.
Because actually there was something came out about firing everybody in Minnesota because of the overtime screw up or whatever that let Cincinnati win. It's just like, why fire everybody? Because look, if you fired somebody because they screwed up, if everybody got fired because they screwed something up, there'd be nobody employed.
Ain't that the truth?
Okay. All right. So another quarterback.
Yeah, Nick Mullins.
Yeah, Nick Mullins completed 26 of 33 passes for 303 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw 2 interceptions. He 6 times for 10 yards. Then we had running back Ty Chandler, caught 3 out of 4 passes for 25 yards, rushed 23 times for 132 yards with a touchdown. And wide receiver Jordan Addison caught 6 of 6 targets for 111 yards with 2 touchdowns. Over for the Bengals, you had Jake Browning at quarterback, and he completed 29 out of 42 for 324 yards, 2 touchdowns. He only threw 1 interception. He rushed 4 times for, I'm going to say 10 yards because I don't have my writing down here very well. Okay. All right. Running back Joe Mixon caught 3 out of 3 passes for 14 yards, rushed 10 times for 47 yards with a touchdown. And wide receiver Jamar Chase caught 4 of 4 for 64 yards.
This now makes the final 3 games crucial with Minnesota. It's against the biggest rival. I want to say that Detroit, Minnesota is maybe a slighter rival than Green Bay, Detroit. I mean, the whole division is one big rivalry, any which way you look at it. But if you gotta pick one, because of our family, this one is up there.
Yes.
Minnesota next week is going to try to better themselves, and they are going to try and stop Detroit from clinching their playoff spot. Detroit does have a scenario next week when we talk about their game later in the list, which is coming up. Go ahead, Zach.
Something.
You can't freak out over one game. You can't do it.
No.
They're like fire everybody. The team is going through injuries left and right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Before he got hurt, who was statistically the best quarterback in the league?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Without a doubt.
I mean, it was Kirk Cousins. You can't.
And I'm on quarterback, 6 now?
5.
4.
5?
4.
5. It's 4?
It's 4.
We'll look it up.
I think it's 4. Anyway, then moving on to the next game, the Steelers lost to the Colts 30-13. The Colts are surprisingly still really up there in the playoff race. The Steelers, however, disappointment across the board with 2 members of the Casa family, Baller G and Greg Cherry. They're calling for Tomlin's head on a stick.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean,
everybody wants to boot out Bill Belichick, but let's face it, that's been happening for at least 2 years.
2
at least.
I don't remember doing it in year 3. I really don't. The whole Bill Belichick thing, I think, started last year. Now we want to get Tomlin out. Now we want to, let's get rid of the Harbaugh brothers because they're apparently a cancer or whatever the media calls them. Give them the stat story, Lou.
All right. Mitch Trubisky completed only 16 of 23 passes for 169 yards with a touchdown, threw 2 interceptions, rushed twice for only 1 yard, but that resulted in a touchdown. Let's see. I have Mason Rudolph, who is also a QB out there, completed 2 of 3 for only 3 yards. You had running back Warren catch 5 out of 6 for 28 yards, rushed 10 times for 40 yards, and wide receiver Deontay Johnson caught 4 of 6 for 62 yards with a touchdown. Over for the Colts, Gardner Minshew completed 18 of 28 for 215 yards with 3 touchdowns, rushed twice but didn't actually get any yardage out of it overall. Running back Trey Sermon rushed 17 times for 88 yards, and wide receiver Michael Pittman caught 4 out of 5 passes for 78 yards.
And just to be certain, that wasn't my personal feeling on the Harbaughs. That's what I just hear in the media because of all the Michigan stuff. And so I've said my piece on him and what happens. I don't think he's a cancer. I would never call that person that was Seth Rollins calling Phil Brooks cancer. That was not me. So I would never say that.
You can't call John Harbaugh cancer. The man's winning games with 6 and 7 strings right now.
Right?
Well, it's a family name, It's all that college stuff that's everyone's complaining about. Anyway, moving on. The Browns beat the Bears 20-17.
And one of the greatest endings I've seen.
Yeah, that was a pinball ending with the ball going all over the place in the end zone.
Yeah.
I briefly
JJ's
saw the ball bouncing left and right. Go ahead, Dori Lou.
Just making sure you see it. JJ's having tech issues, so we'll just keep rolling as best we can.
Go ahead.
All right. So for Chicago, Justin Fields completed only 19 of 40 passes, less than 50%. Okay, 166 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, rushed 7 times for 30 yards. Running back Rashawn Johnson caught 4 of 6 for 24 yards. He rushed 5 times for 36 yards. Wide receiver DJ Moore caught 4 of 8 for 52 yards. Over for Cleveland, name we haven't brought up much is Flacco. Yes, he's back.
Joe
Flacco. 28 of 44 completions, 374 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw 3 interceptions. He rushed once, got negative yards on it, so whatever. Running back Jerome Ford caught 4 out of 5 for 11 yards, rushed 8 times for 20 yards. And then wide receiver Amari Cooper caught 4 out of 8 targets for 109 yards with a touchdown.
Here's the thing, folks. It's a big game next week for Cleveland because they actually do have a clinching scenario. Josh Mansfield, where are you? You were happy to hear about this in the chat rooms, but they're number one, they have to win. Bottom line, there is no scenario out there, and I'll give a quick shout out to at NFL Playoff Scenarios. That's where I get all my clinching and elimination news all the time, and there is a 8-way scenario with the number one being, and in all these scenarios they have to win no matter what. There are losses galore that I just don't see happening. I can put the post out there later, but eventually. Next week, Cleveland has to win, Pittsburgh has to lose, Denver has to lose, Miami has to win, and then there are losses between Buffalo, Indianapolis, and Jacksonville. This all needs to take place. Everything needs to line up, and then King Bugs gets to come in and bless the Cleveland Browns helmet. And believe me, with the Browns in the playoffs. Let's see. If the Lions win 2 of 3, are they still good? Do they really need all 3? I believe the answer is no. To clinch the division, they have to beat the Vikings. They can lose. Minnesota can beat Detroit this week, and then Detroit is going to hope that either the Rams or the Seahawks lose. Then they'll get their playoff spot. That's the scenario. So. If Detroit wins against Minnesota this week, they get the belt. They get the North Division title. If they lose, they're going to hope to get in. It's not the best way to get in. You're getting in on a loss, but hey, if the other teams do worse than you, you're in. So there you go.
Go Vikings, skull.
Yes, go Vikings, skull. Next up, the Buccaneers beat the Packers 34-20.
Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield. Oh. Okay, Baker Mayfield completed 22 of 28 passes, 381 yards, 4 touchdowns. We're not going to discuss what he rushed because it's not nice.
Good question, Renegade.
I swear, I'm on the Browns. I'm on the Browns bandwagon so they can face the Ravens in the playoffs. Because that story with Joe Flacco taking out the team he won a Super Bowl with. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Where's the Stone Cold? We need Stone Cold.
Oh nah, it's all good. All right.
Okay. Go ahead.
For Tampa Bay, running back Rashad White caught 2 of 2 for 50 yards with a touchdown. Rushed 21 times for 89 yards. And wide receiver Chris Godwin caught 10 out of 12 targets for 155 yards. Over for Green Bay, Jordan Love completed 29 of 39 passes, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushed twice, so only got a yard out of it. Running back Aaron Jones caught all 4 targets, 16 yards, rushed 13 times for 53 yards. And wide receiver Dontavian Wicks caught 6 of 7 for 97 yards.
All righty. Next up, the Houston Texans beat our Titans 19-16, and sadly, that takes the Titans out of the playoff picture.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Mikey!
Wrong one, but okay.
Ask and you shall receive.
I wanted the Stone Cold one, not that one.
Shut your bitch ass up.
I'll take that one.
Whatever. Go ahead, Dori Lou.
Can we just skip Derrick Henry's stats, please?
No.
No, sorry. Actually, I don't even have his stats because he was not the top.
He ran the ball 16 times for 5 yards.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Who the fuck wrote this bullshit?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
the
yeah,
one.
I don't even have Derrick Henry's stats written down because I only have the top performer for each one.
How do you carry the ball 16 times? Were you running backwards?
What are you, a fucking piece of shit?
All right, so on with our stats. Another name I haven't I don't recall mentioning in a while, Case Keenum. Case Keenum was QB for Houston. He completed 23 of 36 passes for 229 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He rushed twice for a single yard. And then we had running back Devin Singletary, caught 4 out of 5 targets for 49 yards. He rushed 26 times for 121 yards. And wide receiver Noah Brown caught 8 of 11 for 82 yards with a touchdown. Over for the the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis, 17 of 26 for 199 yards. He threw an interception, but no touchdowns. He rushed 4 times for 25 yards and a touchdown. Take that, Derrick Henry. No. Running back, I apologize if I mispronounce it, Tyjae Spears. Caught 1 for 7 yards, rushed 9 times for 30 yards. And wide receiver Treylon Burks caught 3 of 3 for 62 yards, rushed once for 2 yards.
All righty. We reached the halfway point of week 15, and the Dolphins decided to blank the Jets 30-0. The Jets are done as well, and Aaron Rodgers went on Pat McAfee's show this morning and basically told the fans without actually saying it, that him coming back is not worth it. It's not pointless. He wants to be at 100%, which is the right thing to do. His rehab and his recovery is amazing. Absolutely. He's got to be the bionic man at some point. Would it be nice to have him play a drive, a game? Why risk it? Don't do it. We don't want to have the same thing happen twice.
But he was all gung-ho about getting in at least one game this season after his rehab.
Yeah.
But that's when the Jets were not doing so terribly.
Indeed.
But now that the Jets are completely out of the running, forget it. I'm seeing more. I mean, I understand, the rehab and taking care of yourself too. But at the same time, you were so gung-ho about getting in at least one more game that now that your team is not going to the playoffs, you're not even going to try. Again, I'm looking at poor sportsmanship.
Okay, fair enough. Let's hear
But with that, I do have some stats for you. Trevor Siemian completed 14 of 26 passes, 110 yards. He threw 2 interceptions. Zach Wilson came in there at QB for a little bit also, 4 of 11 for only 26 yards. Running back Breece Hall caught 1 for 6 yards, rushed 6 times for 12 yards. And wide receiver Garrett Wilson caught 3 out of 4 for 29 yards. Jumping over to those Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa How was that? I've been practicing. Completed 21 of 24 passes for 224 yards with a touchdown. Running back Raheem Mostert, 2 of 2 for 1 yard, rushed 15 times for 42 yards with 2 touchdowns. And wide receiver Jalen Waddle caught 8 of 9 for 142 yards with a touchdown.
Waddle, baby.
Waddle, baby.
Not wobble, but waddle, baby, waddle, baby, waddle. Okay.
And Miami is one of 4 teams, or one of 3 teams to clinch their playoff spot. You'll see that in just a bit.
Sorry, I broke Zach.
That was great.
Up next, the Chiefs beat the Patriots 27-17. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid's each, yes, indeed, Ray Finkel is the greatest Dolphin of all time. If you know, you know.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid each got fined, totaling $150,000 for last week's outbursts or whatever. And apparently, it's in violation of a rule. And this is a very small mini rant. This is not a full-on rant. But apparently, there is a rule in the NFL where personnel, be it players or coaches, are not allowed to publicly criticize officials. My problem, of course, and what everybody wants to invoke whenever people say things are your First Amendment's rights to freedom of speech. Okay? It's a touchy situation. I would have liked to maybe debate this at a later time. It just didn't come through fruition. And I'll quickly end it off by saying, I do not like that companies, be it your workplace, be it a sports franchise, be it maybe even political and or judicial things, try to take away or stop a person from talking. Now, if you say the wrong thing, you're going to get the backlash no matter what. Okay? You're going to put your fist in your mouth with Tabasco sauce, fine. You're going to get the consequences no matter what. But to try and take away one of the, if not God-given rights that were created for this country, for every person, American, however you want to call that, you have the right to say whatever you want. You have the right to say what is on your mind. You have the right to express yourself. But a big, powerful entity like the NFL says, no, you can't do that. And if you do that, we're going to charge you for it. So there's my problem with that.
Go fuck yourself.
Case in point.
That was good. That was good. All right. Are you ready for some? Are you done with your rant? Are you ready for some?
Yes.
All right. Patrick Mahomes completed 27 of 37 passes for 305 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw 2 interceptions. He rushed 3 times for -5 yards.
How do you do that?
Then we've got running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Mm-hmm.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. There we go. Caught all 4 of his targets, 64 yards with a touchdown. Rushed 13 times for 37 yards. And wide receiver Rashee Rice caught all 9 of his targets for 91 yards with a touchdown. Over for the Patriots, Bailey Zapp completed 23 of 31 passes for 180 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He rushed once, but he got positive yardage too.
Only two.
Yep. Running back Ezekiel Elliott caught 5 out of 6 passes for 21 yards. He rushed 11 times for 25 yards. And tight end Hunter Henry, 7 out of 9 for 66 yards with a touchdown.
Very good indeed. All right. Zach, you should be happy on the next game. The Saints beat the Giants 24-6.
Woohoo! I was happy about that.
Are you happy, Zach? Oh,
Ish.
Ish. I feel like we played a lot better. Our defense looks amazing. Our offense still has a little bit of flaws, but we can't take credit for this. We didn't play nobody. We were playing Tommy Cutlets.
There you go. There you go.
Let's hear the stats.
So DeVito completed 20 of 34 passes for 177 yards. He rushed 4 times for 36 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. QB2, Tyrod Taylor completed 2 of 4 passes for 13 yards. He didn't rush. Nothing else happening with him there. Then you've got running back Saquon Barkley, caught 2 of 2 for 32 yards. He rushed 9 times for 14 yards. And wide receiver Darius Slayton, 50%, 4 out of 8 targets, 63 yards. Now over for those Saints, Derek Carr completed 23 of 28 passes for 218 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He rushed 3 times, but he got negative yardage. Okay, we'll leave that alone. Now, for your top rusher and top receiver, it's the same person. Running back Alvin Kamara, 5 of 5 for 44 yards, rushed 16 times for 66 yards.
Apparently, he's got a sports agent. This guy, and you know, there's a small little play on the on Sopranos, Goodfellas, Sopranos, whatever you want to call it. And his agent showed up on Pat McAfee this morning. And there was also a miscommunication at a local pizzeria. It was either New York or New Jersey. Don't remember which one. There was like a verbal deal where he was going to show up. And then all of a sudden he got big and he got popular. And a claim came out that he wanted double the money. But none of that took place. And DeVito showed up for free. So he did the right thing. So hey, way to go, DeVito. I mean, wow, good job for that. Well done indeed. Now, in a weird game, this is not a hockey score. This is not a baseball score. This is one of the lowest, if not, well, low was, of course, Minnesota, Las Vegas last week. The Panthers beat the Falcons 9-7.
Who the fuck wrote this bullshit?
Exactly. 3 field goals and a touchdown extra point. As soon as I saw that, and here's the bigger shocker. Carolina won. They actually won a game.
Say what? Yeah. So everybody who was I'm pretty sure everybody who was in a fantasy pick'em contest all lost that game.
You think?
Not I.
Bite me. All right. Desmond Ridder completed 12 out of 20 passes for 152 yards with 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He rushed 5 times for negative yards. Running back Tyler Allgeier caught 1 pass for 6 yards and rushed 14 times for 45 yards. Tight end Jonnu Smith caught 2 of 2 for 61 yards. Over for Carolina, Bryce Young completed 18 of 24 passes, 167 yards with no touchdowns, no interceptions. He rushed 4 times for 9 yards. At least he was positive. Running back Chuba Hubbard caught 2 of 2 for 16 yards, rushed 22 times for 87 yards. And wide receiver, former Viking Adam Thielen caught 4 out of 7 passes for 43 yards.
There you go.
They had the lowest. Did you hear this story, Mikey? They had the lowest record attendance in NFL history.
Wow.
Because they're done. They're done.
There was 27 people at this game.
Oh, wow.
And they won.
And they won. That is very, very sad.
Done. All right, next up, the Commanders lose to the Rams 28-20. Both teams are still in the playoff race. We don't have to worry about that. But surprisingly, the Rams are making a bit of a surge here. They want to be known. Let's see what happens moving on. Tell us about the Rams and the Commanders.
We're gonna put a foot in their ass Thursday night.
I hope so.
Jacoby Brissett.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you. 8 of 10 for 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushed twice for 9 yards. Sam Howell completed 11 of 26 for 102 yards with a touchdown and an interception. He rushed 3 times for 22 yards. So you had both quarterbacks in play at some point, or one and then the other.
Mm-hmm.
Running back Chris Rodriguez rushed 10 times for 35 yards, and wide receiver Terry McLaurin caught 6 of 12 for 141 yards and a touchdown. Over for the Rams, Matthew Stafford completed 25 of 33 for 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushed once for 2 yards. Running back Kyren Williams
Notre Dame, baby.
caught 5 of 7 for 3 yards, rushed 27 times for 152 yards and a touchdown. And wide receiver Cooper Kupp caught all 8 targets for 111 yards with a touchdown.
Boo.
Cooper Kupp.
Boo.
All righty. Next up, the number 1 team. Your San Francisco 49ers. That's for you, Jeff. Took out a team that's already been eliminated, the Arizona Cardinals. Well, no, this was the game that took out the Arizona Cardinals, 45-29. Your 49ers out there in Canyon Country have the NFC West Division title. Congratulations. 45-29 final score.
Did somebody say run CMC?
All right. Brock Purdy of the San Francisco 49ers completed 16 of 25 passes for 242 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. I have him listed as QB2. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Sam Darnold was in the game, completed 2 of 3 passes for 20 yards, and he rushed once for 11 yards. Running back Christian McCaffrey caught 5 targets for 72 yards with 2 touchdowns, and he rushed 18 times for 115 yards with a touchdown. He is both your top rusher and receiver for the 49ers.
Yeah, baby.
Over for Arizona, Kyler Murray completed 26 of 39 passes for 211 yards with 1 touchdown. He threw 2 interceptions, rushed 6 times for 49 yards. Running back James Conner caught 3 of 3 for 3 yards, rushed 14 times for 86 yards with a touchdown. And tight end Trey McBride caught 10 of 11 targets for 102 yards.
Well done indeed. They are showing that they are the number 1 team. They are not going to go away quietly. They were number 1 in the top 5 list this morning. Every Tuesday morning before I come into the sports bar, I'm watching First Take, and I actually agreed a little bit with my ESPN rival there, but we'll get into that later. All right, up next, the Cowboys did not win their game against the Buffalo Bills, even though they had already clinched earlier in the day because of games that were taking place on Saturday. 31-10 was the final score. How did Dak Prescott do? We go to Dori Lou.
Mr. Prescott completed 21 of 34 passes for 134 yards and threw an interception. He rushed 4 times for 27 yards. Running back Tony Pollard caught 2 of 3 passes for 5 yards, rushed 11 times for 52 yards. And your wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, 7 of 10 for 53 yards, rushed once for 3 yards with a touchdown. Over there for those Buffalo Bills, one of my fantasy quarterbacks, Mr. Josh Allen, completed 7 of 15 for 94 yards with a touchdown. He rushed 8 times for 24 yards with a touchdown. Running back James Cook caught 2 of 3 for 42 yards with a touchdown, rushed 25 times, 179 yards with a touchdown. And wide receiver Stephon Diggs caught 4 out of 5 passes for 48 yards.
Did you say that Dak had got picked off?
Uh-huh.
How many?
Once.
I know he threw an interception, but I do not have the sacks written down.
So I think that makes his interception count at 6.
I think so. I'd have to go back and look at all my records.
If that is true, he has 3 games left to maintain the promise he made at the beginning of the season that he would not throw no more than 10. He can go. You could say, if I read the quote right, He said he was going to throw no more than 10. If he
I
is
think
at
you're right.
6 with 3 games left, he's okay.
Did you see his press conference after the game?
No, what happened?
They asked him, well, I know it's a tough loss, but you did make the playoffs. I mean, how do you feel about that? I don't care.
He said he didn't care?
He said it exactly like that. I don't care. It don't matter to me.
Oh,
Next
my
question.
God. Another poor sport.
I would understand that if they were asking about MVP, because there is MVP talk going around like crazy. But and for that, they don't want to focus on MVP until after the season is over, when all the numbers are in play. But to say that you don't care, that you don't want your team to go to the Super Bowl and that you're in the playoffs, unless he's like trying not to focus on it, who knows what Dak is up to anyway. Anyway, we know. All right, the quote is, I won't have 10 interceptions this year. Thank you, Renegade, for that one. So he's probably at 6. So he can then only do 3. So as long as he does not get picked off in the next 3 games, I think he's okay.
Let me see if I can find that real quick.
All right.
Yeah, I was Googling it too.
You find that one, and we'll go on to the next game. The Birds.
He has 7 interceptions.
He's at 7?
Yes.
Okay, he's only got 2 to go then.
Yep.
He's only got 2 to go then. I mean, because if he gets 3 out of 3, then that quote is out the window. The Baltimore Ravens take out the Jacksonville Jaguars 23-7 to prove their number 1 spot in the AFC. They have clinched their spot. They are in the playoffs. They are not the number 1 team yet, but they are in. Let's hear the stats.
Most definitely. And Tyler's quite happy about this.
Oh, yes.
Lamar Jackson completed 14 of 24 passes for 170 yards with 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and he rushed 12 times for 97 yards. I'm really enjoying seeing these quarterbacks not just passing the ball. I'm liking seeing that you have a lot of them that are there's a word for it. There's a word for it, that they can both. There's something they call them when they can both pass and rush. I'm sorry?
A dual player.
Yes, dual threat. Running back Keaton Mitchell caught 2 passes for 15 yards and rushed 9 times for 73 yards. Tight end Isaiah Likely caught 5 out of 6 for 70 yards with a touchdown. And over for Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence completed 25 of 43 passes, 264 yards, 1 touchdown. He rushed 4 times for 41 yards. Running back Travis Etienne caught 4 out of 6 for 28 yards, rushed 10 times for 31 yards. And wide receiver Jamal New caught 2 of 2 for 70 yards, and he's the one who ran that touchdown in.
Indeed. And the final game of the week, which would have given Detroit their playoff spot if they had done their job, but it didn't happen. The Eagles lose to the Seahawks 20-17. If Philadelphia would have won, Detroit would have been in. So now we have to wait again until next week. The Eagles have already clinched. They were in because of the win. And Seattle decided, well, we're not. Or Seattle's like, oh, no. We're not going to go away into the night. We're going to come back. And it was your former player, JSN, with the winning touchdown.
Oh, my goodness.
Take it away.
Apparently the Seahawks decided they were going to clip some eagle wings.
They did. Oh, they didn't just clip them. They slashed them, cut them off, and burned them.
Only 3 points. Come on. It wasn't that bad. They only clipped them. All right. Jalen Hurts completed 17 of 31 passes for 143 yards through 2 interceptions. Shame on you, Jalen. Rushed 13 times for 82 yards, but he rushed in 2 touchdowns. Running back DeAndre Swift caught 2 of 3 for 1 yard and rushed 18 times for 74 yards. And wide receiver A.J. Brown, 50% completion here, caught 5 out of the 10 passes for 56 yards. Over for the Seahawks, Drew Lock completed 22 of 33 passes for 208 yards. One of those was thrown for a touchdown. he rushed one time, but negative, so we're good there. Running back Kenneth Walker caught 3 of 3 passes for 26 yards, rushed 19 times for 86 yards with a touchdown, and wide receiver DK Metcalf caught 5 of 6 passes for 78 yards. And that is your Week 15 NFL Roundup.
Indeed, it does. So, what does this mean for all of the power rankings and where everybody stands? Let's take a look. There are your top 4 teams: the 49ers, the Ravens, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. They are all in green. And as you can see, King Bugs down in the right-hand corner has given his royal proclamation that the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Ravens are all going to the playoffs. And the NFC Western Division title goes to the San Francisco 49ers. So they are green. They are your top 4 teams. The Dolphins and the Lions are both at 10-4. They are the top teams that have not clinched yet. That rounds out column 1 with the Chiefs and, surprisingly, the Browns. Chiefs and Browns round out column 1 both at 9-5. The Bills, the Colts, the Jaguars, the Bengals, the Texans, all 8-6. Jacksonville taking the biggest drop at losing 4 spots. And Buffalo has the most points at 379. And the Texans are down to 306. The next teams going from the bottom of column 2 to about the middle of column 3, the Rams, the Saints, the Broncos, the Seahawks, the Buccaneers, the Vikings, and the Steelers are all 7-7. Again, there's no need to worry here. 14 teams are going to go to the playoffs. 4 spots are already covered. There are still 10 spots left to fight for. Vikings and Steelers took the biggest drop at 4. Packers are 6-8. Raiders are 6-8. Atlanta is 6-8. That almost rounds out column 3. Raiders actually jumped out of the red with their 63 points, biggest jump 5 spots. The Chargers round out column 3. Column 4, there are only 2 spots left before that column fully goes red. The Bears and the Giants are still alive. They are not fully eliminated yet, and they will not be eliminated in Week 16. Again, the only team that can go red are the Raiders. The Bears and the Giants, even though they cannot win their divisions, which is above little Bart there, they can still clinch a wild card spot. There still is hope for that. From the Titans all the way down to the Panthers, little Bart's been busy with his red can of spray paint. Of course, the records will just keep them alive. The points, not so much. There is a bit of a tiebreaker. It will move them up or down, but it's not really that big of a thing. So with the playoffs coming up, let me quickly take a look at where everybody is right now. I just want to get that through NFL.com. If I can bring up the standings.
While you're bringing up the standings, I had a little highlight
Go ahead.
from Denver. Wilson is the second quarterback after Peyton Manning to throw 1 pass touchdown in the first 14 games of the season.
Amazing. ESPN is not helping me out with the current playoff stuff, so we're going to go to
you need me to pull up NFL.com.
Let's go to CBS.com. Maybe they can help me out there. Okay, there we go. So the Ravens are the number 1 team right now. They would get the bye. The Dolphins have clinched. This is saying that the Chiefs have clinched. I did not get that notice. I'm not certain that the Chiefs did clinch a playoff spot. So I might have missed that one. And it says also that the Jaguars have clinched a spot. So I did not get that information. I have to confirm that. So right now it would be the Dolphins against the Colts. The Chiefs would play the Bengals. And the Jaguars would play the Browns in the AFC.
Yes, I have. If I break it down by
division leader, not clinch division. That's what I was reading. Okay.
Okay, so what I have is for the AFC, just breaking down the conferences instead of the divisions. You have the top four for the AFC are the Ravens at 11-3, the Dolphins at 10-4, the Chiefs are 9-5, and the Jaguars are at 8-6. Okay, for
Right.
the NFC, we're looking at the 49ers 11-3, the Cowboys 10-4, the Lions 10-4, and the Buccaneers at 7-7. Those are your current divisions.
They put it as they are, some of them are leading and some of them have not yet clinched. That's where the confusion is. So San Francisco would be in the number one team. The Cowboys would play the Rams. The Rams are currently in the number 7 spot. The Lions would play the Vikings if the playoffs started today, and the Bucks would play the Eagles. So that's how it's looking all right now. It's dangerous.
Yes.
Let's get dangerous. It's dangerous and scary to say the least. Let's take a look at the pick'em results. We do have 2 weeks worth of that. Emmanuel won week 14 with 10, Pop in second place with 9, Zach with 8, Dori, Lou, and Daniel with 7, JP with 6, Renegade with 5, and Nathan with 4. In week 15, Dori Lou wins the week, win with an 11. Zach right behind her at 10, tied with JP and Daniel. Pop and Emmanuel got 9. Pop got a pair of 9s there. How about that? Go all in with those 9s, or split those 9s and go for a 21. And Renegade and Nathan at 8. Overall, Daniel has a 1-pick lead over Dori Lou and JP, 137 to 136. Emmanuel at 132, Nathan at 128, Zach at 121, Renegade at 119, and Pop at 118. And that ends all the news for this week's Sports Bar. How about that? It's going to be a good week at the end, and I'll make this announcement now. I know we should do this during the shows, but all that. Next week, we're taking a Christmas break. Next week, there will not be a Sports Bar episode. Dori Lou is doing doubles on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and
I'm going to sleep the following day.
Exactly. It makes sense because it's the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You know, I Tuesday is my normal day off, but I get an extra day off from work. And so the stats and the graphics will be posted on socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The work will still go out there. We just won't put a show together. So we're going to take a Christmas break, and then we come back. We start off 2024 after the first of the year. So that's why we had our Christmas stuff on today. All right. So we're still going to watch football as best as we can. We're still going to report. Stories will come out. In fact, at the end of last week's show, this guy down here dropped the news. I didn't talk about it with the Patriots game, but now let me reiterate this in advance. They are reports. Nothing has happened yet. There are reports that the Patriots are going to cut weight Bill Belichick. It is not confirmed. It is not going to happen. If it happens, of course, we'll report it. But to have it happen as we're going off the air, to only talk about it a week later, and I put this in the group chat too, it's reported. There's been talks about it. I do not hate the man, okay? We all know how we feel about him. You know, we don't wish ill upon him. I despise it when coaches get fired because, let's face it, it's not. I don't blame the coaches. I blame the players. You know, it's not the player's fault if a player. It's not the coach's fault if the player can't do what the coach says. We have that discussion many times. Okay, but if it happens, we'll report it. Until then, nothing is happening.
It's a rumor.
It's a rumor. It's a story.
Right.
It's a report. All righty, we've got one quick commercial to go, and then we close out the show for Christmas. Stay tuned. All righty, friends. We come to the end of the show with our normal shout outs, positives, all that. It's a simple shout out to everybody. I can't say thank you enough. I hope you all have a great Christmas. Make sure when you're sitting at the table, it's not all about presents. It's all about love. What Christmas really means, the birth of Jesus Christ. Amen. That's the true meaning of Christmas. It's not about Hallmark cards or anything like that. That's what Christmas truly is. So please make sure you spend time with your family. Tell them you love them. I love my family all the way around. It's the holiday. It's turning almost. I want it to be a white Christmas so bad in Tennessee. Ever since I saw snow for the first time. But, enjoy it. Zach, what do you want for Christmas? A Super Bowl win for the Saints?
The NFL never let that happen again. Not as long as Goodell's there.
Great. Wonderful.
Positivity.
Well, Dori Lou's the queen of positivity on that one. Also, I did forget the SBSB Awards, which we are planning, is becoming more and more of a thing. I actually have put together a listing of what awards will be given out, and the last three are going to be NFL based, basketball, and hockey. So more than likely, at the end of this hockey season, this basketball season, and this football season, probably around summertime is when we're going to do this. For all the other sports, golf, tennis, NASCAR, WNBA, and all that stuff, nomination list is going to be put together. We still need to work on that, figure out who gets nominated and why. Haven't decided on college yet. Maybe. I don't know. If we do overall basketball, we can maybe do college basketball. Don't know. Haven't decided on that yet. Wrestling, however, is going to be put in there, but it's not going to be limited to WWE, ROH, Impact, or AEW. We can put a representative from each one of those. More than likely, it'll be the champions. More, for an example, could be Roman, MJF, who's ever top dog in Impact, Christian or Edge or whoever. It's still a work in progress. We have some of the stuff already done. It'll be, golfers from the last year, NASCAR last year, 10th year, and things like that. So they are coming. More than likely, it's going to be summer 2024 with all the news from 2023. So again, enjoy Christmas. I love you all. Dori Lou, do you got a positive for us?
I always have a positive for us.
There you go.
Oh my goodness. There's so much. There is a lot. And again, it's not about the gifts. It's not about the commercialism of the holiday. It's about family when it comes down to it. And I just want to remind everyone out there, because it is a tough season for a lot of people, send a smile, have an ear or a shoulder for that person who may need it, and just take the time to recognize that somebody might not be having that good of a day and say, hey, I'm here for you. Be that ear, be that shoulder, and just try to remember we have a roof over our head. We have food to eat. Actually, let me find this. I have it. I closed it, but let me bring it right back up. A roof over your head, food to eat, have that good heart, wish good for others. We have clean water to drink. Somebody cares about you. You're watching this show, know that I care about you.
Zach, you got anything you want to add?
Strive to be better. We strive to be better every day. We have clean clothes to wear. We have a dream. And that dream frequently changes or manipulate or gets skewed a little bit, but we all have a dream, and we're still breathing. We woke up to greet this day. Share that positive and spread the love.
Indeed.
Happy
Zach?
holidays.
The
You
number
want to say
one
anything
thing,
before we go?
first and foremost, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone, including my family right here. To both of you.
Thank you.
But most importantly, to go along with Dori Lou's positive, just please, everybody, just believe in yourself. Yourself is number one key. Your happiness is number one key. If you believe in yourself, then 9 times out of 10, you can believe in everybody.
There it is. All right, friends and family. I love you all. We'll see you the first week of January. Again, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. For the Stat Girl, Stat Boy out. Merry Christmas, everybody.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.